John says a lot of experts still are picking FSU this year. Not sure they're even studying rosters, just picking based on transfer headcount or something. Yeah, I think, and I don't think it's less about how much transfers for Florida State has brought in, and just really just about how little Clemson, non-existent Clemson's transfer classes. And so I think that's hampered their perception, fair or not. That's kind of, and we've talked about it a ton. It's been really easy to throw out Clemson because they didn't take transfers, but they don't, without really much regard to what Clemson has brought back, and a lot of the positives and strengths that this team potentially has. I like the makeup of this roster a lot right now, even without the transfers. I mean, it's not perfect. There's certainly questions, and we've gone over them, but I think this team has a chance to be really, really good. And certainly win the ACC and make a playoff. But
there's no doubt. I mean, just looking at the roster alone, that this team should certainly be competing, for an ACC championship. I mean, that's kind of what you should expect just from top to bottom, looking at the roster, looking at the changes that have been made in the coaching staff, and just projecting going forward. That's what you should expect. So you should expect to be competing for an ACC title. If you win that, you're ending up in the 12-team playoff, right? So you're back into the playoff. And then, once you get in there, let the chips fall where they may.
Absolutely. SEC Dog says, real question is, when will y'all be calling for Dabo's head? Can't keep firing all the coordinators. Well, I mean, Clemson didn't fire any coordinators this offseason, so, there's that. But no, why would we call for Dabo's head?
I'll just answer the question very frankly. A lot would have to happen for me to be calling for Dabo Swinney's head.
Yeah.
Yes, I know the transfer portal. We've talked about it ad nauseum on this channel. I know NIL. We've talked about Clemson's NIL situation on this channel, about how they use it more for roster retention. Not that they don't use it for recruiting, but the bulk of it is used for roster retention, and then the rest of it is used for recruiting. They're not going to get into bidding wars. But as far as, calling for Dabo's head, not happening. As far as firing coordinators, we only fired one coordinator, and I don't know how long. So, I mean, Clemson's not really in the business of firing coordinators either. They fired one coordinator. That was Brandon Streeter. The coordinator before him, Tony Elliott, left for a head coaching job. The defensive coordinator, Brent Venables, left for a head coaching job.
So
we've only fired one. But, I mean, I guess if we had to fire another one, I would definitely be okay with that before we go calling for Dabo Swinney's head. But, I mean, I get the question.
Yeah, but it never about – it's never been about really the coordinators. And I'm not – we could go down this whole rabbit hole about Clemson's coaching staff the last few years and what the issues actually were, but it has not – there's not been a trend of Dabo firing coordinators. That's just never been the case.